This is Mayor Ron Anders with the Mayor's Minutes from our January 7th, 2020 City Council meeting, and Happy New Year to everybody here in Auburn. We began last night in the Committee of the Whole by making some appointments. First, for the Board of Zoning and Adjustment, we appointed Kimberly White and Frost Rollins to regular terms on the BZA, and Mr. Jim Storbeck to a supernumerary term. All of these are 6-year terms, or 3-year terms, and we appreciate them being willing to serve on the BZA. It's a very important board we have in the city, and we're proud to have them a part of it. We also reappointed Mr. Bernard Hill to the Waterworks Board. Bernard had served a partial term and was seeking a full term, and this term is a 6-year term. And thank you, Bernard. Thank you for all that the Waterworks Board does on behalf of the citizens. They do an outstanding job each and every day. And then we had a robust discussion about the naming of buildings or municipal complexes here in the city that was brought forth by Councilman Kelly Griswold. After a long discussion and some debate, the council ultimately decided not to ask the staff to create a resolution for the council to vote on here in the near future, that the council was satisfied with the methods that have been used in times past to name certain buildings or certain facilities for individuals who have done an outstanding job on behalf of all of us. We did say that we would do our own research, and if we found another idea that another municipality was using, that anybody on the council at any time has the right and the opportunity to bring that forth, and we would consider that in the future. I would say to our citizens, this is my 7th year of being a part of the City Council, and not during my 7 years have we ever named a building for someone. So this happens very rarely. Obviously, the buildings we think of in our town are the Frank Brown Rec Center and the Jan Dempsey Art Center, the Doug Watson Municipal Complex, the Bo Cavin baseball fields. That's about all I can really remember that have happened even recently in Auburn. And so this is something that has to be carefully considered. It has to be thoroughly vetted. And really, in a best case scenario, it's a unanimous vote by the City Council that everybody's on board, that this person is so deserving of naming this building that we're all on the same page. And so we'll continue to talk about this and work with it, but ultimately right now the council has decided that they are pleased with where we have done this in the past, how we've done this in the past, and we'll move forward with that unless somebody else has a better idea that we'll consider for the future. As we got into our agenda last night, being the first meeting of the month, we recognized outstanding employees who have done great work, and we recognize Miss Valerie Baker as our Employee of the Month. Valerie works here in City Hall and is someone I get to see on a daily basis. I'll read a portion of a memo that came from Miss Megan Crouch to Jim Buston, our city manager, regarding Valerie. She says, Megan says, beyond greeting and assisting citizens and visitors, Valerie's job duties include but are not limited to compiling and distributing city council packets, assisting with voter registration and city elections, scanning and filing of ordinances and resolutions, publishing and distributing updates to the city code. Valerie consistently and efficiently performs the duties of her job while always willing to take on new tasks. I can certainly vouch for all of that because I get to see Valerie work on a daily basis, and she does an outstanding job for all of us, and she is the front door for our city and does a great job. We also recognize Miss Ashley Thomas, who works in our Community Services Department. Ashley's been with the city since 2006, and during this time, she's taken advantage of the city's continuing education program, and she has gone back to school and received a bachelor's degree in management. And so we're very proud of Ashley for working full-time, but going back to school and receiving a bachelor's degree, and look forward to her continuing work with us here at the city. We also recognized our finance department, who once again received the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting. This is the 32nd consecutive year that the City of Auburn has received this award. This is the highest form of recognition for excellence in state and local government financial reporting. So they are recognized by a group of peers as doing an outstanding job. For you, our citizens, I hope this gives you great comfort to know that the millions of dollars that we are held accountable for spending on your behalf to provide services for our citizens is being managed at the best way possible by this outstanding team of individuals led by Allison Edge. And so we thank them for their continued professionalism and their great work. And then we had a special recognition last night for Miss Martha Henk, the Food Bank of East Alabama Director. We were given an opportunity through the Extra Mile program to recognize one citizen in our community who has gone the extra mile to make Auburn a special, unique, and successful community. And we couldn't think of anybody better than Martha, who has been with the food bank since 1994. the volume of food that they have distributed to people in need in our community has multiplied many, many, many times during her tenure there. They have just completed a new building because the volume of work and provisions that they provide for people in East Alabama has grown. I believe the number when Martha started was 450,000 pounds of food that was distributed, and this year we're approaching 5 million pounds of food, and that's just phenomenal. So we thank Martha for all of her work that she does on a daily basis, and we're proud to make her the first extra mile hero. That included naming a day for her in December, which we did at the Food Bank's board meeting. And then the Food Bank surprised us by also renaming their building, their new building, the Martha Henk building. And we think that that is just perfect because Martha has done an excellent job. So thank you, Martha, for everything. As we get into the consent agenda, the city manager did provide a report on the Rebuild Alabama Act. This is the monies that we will receive through the new gas tax that was approved last year by the state government. We approved a work plan for that last August, but we are mandated in January to give a report to our city as to how we have spent the money. Frankly, at this point in time, we have not received the money yet from the Rebuild Alabama Act. We do expect to receive our first installment from this act sometime soon. And once we do that, next January, we'll give you a full reporting on how we've spent that. But I encourage you to go back to the August meeting and you can see what our work plan is for that. We approved an alcohol beverage license for a new restaurant located at 203C Opelika Road. We approved the purchase of 560 rollout carts for recycling. It's $27,000. I remind you that this will be repaid back with a grant. The city manager informed us last night that once these are distributed, that 85% of our environmental services customers will have recycle rollout carts. And so I just thank everybody in our community for participating in recycling, for keeping the things that we can keep out of the landfill from going there, and for being industrious and participating and rolling your cart out to the street each and every day that it's time for your trash and recycle to be picked up. Thank you for making those efforts. We think that this makes Auburn a special and unique place. We purchased a new van for Parks and Rec for $27,000. This is replacing an old van that has cost us a bunch of money recently to repair, and it was time. And this is a budgeted item, and it was time to replace this. We approved a contract with Gonzalez Strength and Associates for wayfinding consulting and signage for a number of entities for the city, which includes the new public safety building, the Doug Watson Municipal Complex, our Parks and Rec facilities around town and downtown. And then we approved an amendment for our MOU with Auburn University for the new Rane Culinary Science Center. Basically, this MOU is addressed to sidewalk and lane closures. The long and the short of this is, I will tell you as our citizens, is this is going to be about a 2-year project. It's a substantial project that will add an exciting amenity to our community. Then I'm confident that many of us in Auburn will be able to participate in activities that go on in the Rane Center. It will not be just for university functions, but there will be some community functions in there as well. But we're excited about this facility, and we think it's going to bring a new line of tourism to our community and just some exciting things. But with any type of development, it is kind of a nuisance to get through it, and there will be things that will be changes to the way you travel and walk in and around town that will be temporary. And so for 4 months this year, the road, Thatch Avenue between Gay Street and College Street, will be functionally closed down. It will be open to local traffic, particularly the traffic related to First Presbyterian Church, but by and large, most of us will not be able to use that. The sidewalk on the north side of the street, which is adjacent to the Presbyterian Church, will be available for walking and pedestrians who are walking. So anyway, please be patient. This is going to be a great asset in addition to our community. This is a university project, but it's right across the street from the city, so we have been actively engaged with the university to make sure that we have planned well for all the utility reconstruction and all the roads and sidewalk reconstruction. If you have any questions on that, don't hesitate to let us know, and we can try to answer those to the best of our abilities. And then finally, we had an ordinance last night that we evaluated and ultimately passed unanimously. We've got a situation that's very unique to our community where we've had a gentleman who has been falsely presenting himself as having car issues, transportation issues, and he has managed to get himself into people's cars without being invited. And basically he has utilized the driver as kind of a taxi or an Uber driver to transport him around town. We do not have a law that prevents those kind of trespassings of vehicles. And so our municipal court staff, our city attorney staff, and I presume our public safety staff got together and developed an ordinance that we now can hang our hat on. So if this happens again, we have a way of punishing people who commit these types of transgressions. So we approved that last night unanimously. If you have any questions on that, please don't hesitate to contact me or contact the city staff, and we can get you some more information. That concludes our agenda from last night, from our January 7th, 2020 meeting. Once again, Happy New Year, and this is Ron Anders. Have a great week.